In Canada, forests burn regardless of human presence. We are in the path of a natural destructive cycle. In the face of our changing climate, these cycles are being affected in ways we don't yet understand. We need to prepare our communities as best we can. In 2018, fires in British Columbia released enough energy to power all of Canada for an entire year. Can human ingenuity adapt to this natural fire cycle and redirect this enormous energy potential to constructive ends? The people of Alkali Lake live in an ecosystem where the natural disturbance is called frequent stand-maintaining fires. Past forest management and fire suppression practices have led to a buildup of surface biomass, called ladder fuels, in the forest understory. The Esketmc people have undertaken their own forest management activities that reflect more historically natural ecosystem conditions. They have a large firefighting program and an active forestry department that includes a chipping operation for their local biomass plant.
The forest will burn. In West, Urban Johnson. I'm one of the hereditary chiefs here at Esket.
What you're standing on here is the center of the people of the White Earth, the Esketmc community.
It was scary, it was very hot and dry, there was a lot of wind, and when the fire started here, we're only 10 kilometers away from the community, everyone got very panicked and they just quickly remembered what happened the year before. And so if we don't manage the forests, if we don't manage the fires will manage us.
The focus of my program is restoring the fire-maintained ecosystems, which are the natural disturbance type 4. So that's a low severity, frequent stand-maintaining fires that would move through these ecosystems. And so what happens if you exclude fire is that succession starts taking place in amongst the veteran trees. And you have multiple layers that start building up and start making that forest into a denser stand.
It is not if the forest will burn, it'll be when the forest will burn. And where we're located, we're in a natural disturbance type where it was a frequent fire maintenance system, and we've suppressed it for so long it hasn't been managed.
Normally, the practice of the people, like of our ancestors, they controlled a lot of the fuels in the forest. They did a lot of burnings.
This treatment here is one of our fuel treatments that are within 3 kilometers from Alkali Lake. My name is Darren Stanislaus. I am the area supervisor for Alkali Resource Management. So for what you see on the left, if we had a wildfire come through with the amount of fuel that we have with the dead branches going up the trees and the fuel with the lower brush on the ground, if a fire were to come in here, it has a greater chance of getting into the crown, and then we have no control over it. But with the fire in our treated side, if the fire is coming in on the ground, with the less fuel load, it's not going to burn as intense as the untreated side. And if we ever do get into the crowd, because of the spacing density we have, there's very low risk of it traveling as high and intense and as fast as the untreated side.
We're creating an area, one, that we can maintain as fire breaks, but also give our crews some winnable ground. So the idea would be we can create defendable ground, protect the community, but also protect some of the other resources in this area.
At this site, we are doing a fuel treatment, hazard reduction, and it's a primary fuel break.
And at the same time, we're using the fuel to help supply the biomass plant within our community.
We're doing fuel management. We're just chipping all these piles you could see behind me.
So I believe it's important to be doing what the armed crews are doing, opening everything up, spacing them out, pruning all the higher limbs out. And it looks good up there, it's like a park.
Yeah, I think it's good for the environment and helps for wildlife. Only thing I know, working in a bush.
We all kind of like trained each other on it, and it's going great. Like I figured out all the bells and whistles, you would say, and we had work all summer and we're still going. I'm part of the community and I have a family, I have 2 kids, and yeah, I'm able to be closer to home with them instead of going out somewhere else to work. And I love it, so I'm out here till I'm old.
We're using these piles, chip piles, for the biomass they have down the community here.
We're standing here in front of our biomass project that was started about 8 years ago. It is a heating system that we have piped into the ground. It's about a $4 million system that we hope it's going to pay for itself in the next 4 to 10 years. Over the years, what has happened is we're finding that we're paying more into propane, into heating our buildings here in our community, our elder center, our health center, our band office, our school, and the store. And it also blazes a trail for other First Nations that they can come here, and a number of First Nations have come and looked at the plant, and they're thinking, oh, hey, we can do this in my community.
For communities in the forest, the threat of fire and destruction looms. But with proper planning that imitates natural disturbance, the threat can be controlled. And the power of fire can bring opportunity, jobs, independence, and energy.